Hi there guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to work on adding in some of our stamina system for our combat system that we've been making so far. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, when we want to add in a new stat system of any kind, we're going to want to do two things. We're going to want to create a widget. This will be our progress bar tracker, whatever our main HUD will be. And the second thing we want to do is make a new component blueprint. To start off, I think it would be best to make a widget that we can utilize and call with this component. So you can go ahead and make yourself a folder called UI just by right-clicking New Folder UI. It doesn't have to be named UI. This is just something that I like to do. All right. Once you're in your UI folder, you're going to right-click, go to Blueprint class, or actually, sorry, we are going to search up widget. And we're going to click Widget Blueprint. And then we're going to click on User Widget. And we can just name this Main HUD. All right. Go ahead and save. And we can open this up. In here on the main HUD, we're going to want to add in two things. One of them is a canvas panel. This is essentially just what we can place objects in, and everything within this canvas panel is what you're going to see on your screen when you press play. All right. So think of the canvas panel as essentially the 2D reference size / image of your viewport. All right. Now, while clicked on the canvas panel here, we're going to add in one more thing, and that's going to be a progress bar. So if you type progress up here in the top, we'll get common progress bar, drag it down and put it under canvas panel. All right, so now we have this progress bar here. But in order to get this to line up really well, you're not just going to want to drag this around. If we were to drag this in the middle here, press play, it won't actually be perfectly aligned with where we're seeing it here. It sometimes will be a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. So the way that we adjust the location of these progress bars and make it accurate is we are going to come up here to the top right while clicked on the progress bar, and we're going to see this anchors option. Going to click on anchors, and we're going to choose where we want it. Most UIs are going to have your health and stamina at the bottom, but you can put this anywhere you want. But for the purposes of this video and this series, we're going to put it along the bottom here. Once you select an anchor, you're going to want to go to position X, type in 0, and position Y, and type in 0. So now we're anchored down here at this point. Top left edge is sitting right at the center of our anchor point. To adjust this, we're going to come to the alignment section, and we're going to punch in some values here. Usually you want to start small. 0.5 in the X scaling and 0.5 in the Y scaling is typically how I like to start. 0.5 in the X is getting us smack dab in the middle, but 0.5 in the Y, only half the bar is visible. So if we double this to 1, we'll be just on the line. But you don't want the health bar to be, or the stamina bar in this case, to be that close to the bottom of the screen. So maybe something like 1.5 or 2 would work well. I'm happy with that. Then we can come to size here, scale this up if we'd like, maybe make it a little bit longer, maybe something like 500, just so it's nice and easy to see. So now we have this progress bar. We have it where we want it. There's a few things that we need to do though. So up here in the top, there's going to be an is variable section. Make sure that you have this check marked. We do want this to be a variable, and we're going to name this stamina bar. Okay? And then down here on fill color and opacity, we can change the color that we want this to be when it's full. Because we're doing stamina, we're going to make it green. And we can check to see if this color change is working by coming here to the progress section and the percent section and plugging in a random percent value to see how it fills the bar. So we are getting a fill, so this is working for us. Now what we're going to do is compile and save all of this progress that we have so far. Okay, and we are going to go back to our content drawer. I'm going to keep this tab open though. I'm going to drag this and put this into our main or tab section. All right, so now back in our content drawer. Remember earlier we mentioned making a component to process the the increase and decrease and increasing of the maximum of all of these stats that we want to add to our character. we are going to do that. But one other thing first, just to get this widget essentially created, is we are going to actually add this into our game. So there's a few different ways that you can do this. You can do this on event play, or you can tie it into the input mapping that the third person character comes with. So me personally, I'm going to just tie this into here. And we can drag off of the add mapping context node and type in create widget blueprint, create widget. Here we go. Create widget. And then the class, we're going to find our HUD class. So I named it main HUD, type in main HUD, and there we go. Now for the owning player, we want to get the player character, but because we are working on the input context of the player character, we're going to get player controller. If you're using event begin play instead, I believe you could just use get player character, which I'll show you that node real quickly. Get player character right here. But for the purposes of how we're doing it in this video, we're going to get player controller. And now on the return value here, we're going to right click this and click promote to variable, because we want to have this stored as a variable within the third person character so that we can call to it when we want to adjust the stats, whether we're decreasing stamina or increasing stamina. By doing this, we can directly change the values on the player character. All right, so for the variable name here, I'm going to just name this HUD widget. Apologize, I'm still getting over a little bit of a cough and a sickness. All right, now we're going to take this HUD widget and we are going to add it to the viewport. So we're going to use a simple add to viewport node. Okay, make sure you plug the target in, and now we are going to, yeah, that should be good actually. That should be good. So we're going to compile and save. And let's see if this is loaded up for us. There we go. We have the stamina now appearing at the bottom of our screen. However, we're not getting any decreases or increases to this. So we're going to go ahead and tackle that next. But we are able to see the stamina bar, which is a good first start to this process. So next, we're going to make the component that's going to handle our increases and decreases. We're going to come down here to the component section, right click, create a new blueprint, create a new actor component, and we can name this player stats, or component underscore player stats. There we go. All right, go ahead and save this and open it up. So we're going to want to create a few different functions here. We're going to want to create a increase and a decrease to the player stats, specifically stamina. For the purposes of this video. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the functions category, and we're going to press the increase button, or the plus button, sorry, and we're going to name our first one decrease stamina. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do the next one, which is going to be increase stamina, and we'll also do an increase max stamina. We might not be covering this one in the video today, but this will essentially be a starting off point for those of you who want to make it so this is a stat that you can maybe put more points into, whether you're making an RPG or have it increase based on level, however you want to do it. Okay, so first off, we're going to come here to decrease stamina, and we are going to start off by making a few variables. Okay, we're going to need both current stamina and max stamina. And those are going to be the two variables that we call within this function to adjust the player's stats. So under variables, we're going to add a new variable called current stamina. And we're going to want this to be a float. The reason we want this to be a float is that this value is going to be changing, and it's not going to be stagnant. Okay, if we were to do something like a Boolean, it can only ever be true or false, or I guess in this case 0 or 1. So it's not going to be conducive for scaling up and down values of varying amounts. Okay, we're going to make one more variable called max stamina. This will be the maximum that the stamina is allowed to reach. Going to compile and save. For the purposes of this video, let's set max stamina to 100, and let's set current stamina to 100 as well. All right. Now we can go ahead and take our decreased stamina node here. And when we call this decreased stamina function in another blueprint, or however we're going to be calling it, we're going to want the ability to change the amount that's decreasing based on an action, right? So we're going to want to make that tied to the decreased stamina node and not just have some set value. So what we're going to do is we are going to come over here to the output section input section, and we are going to add in stamina depleted or stamina cost, stamina lost. Going to do stamina lost, whatever you want to name it. And we're going to set this to a float because, once again, this is a value that will change. Okay? All right. So to start off, we're going to first make a branch. This branch is going to essentially check, what is our current stamina situation, right? So we're going to get our current stamina, and we are going to see if the stamina is less than or equal to 0. If it is not less than or equal to 0, we're going to use a not Boolean here. So if you type in not Boolean, you're going to get this nice little node here, and we're going to plug that into the condition. If the current stamina is not less than or equal to 0, then we are going to set our current stamina. We're setting what the stamina cost will be if it's not already at 0 to, I'm going to take a subtraction node here, and we're going to set this equal to our current stamina minus the stamina depleted. So current stamina minus the stamina depleted. Okay. And then what we're going to do is set the percent of our stamina bar. This node is essentially going to change the, the percent of which we're seeing on the bar, right? This is going to control how full that bar is. So in order to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to do a division node. The reason we're going to do division is because set percent is dealing in percents, which has to be somewhere between 0 and 100%. To find the percentage values, we're going to want to divide our current stamina and our maximum stamina. Get current and get max. Okay, so now when we run this, it's going to divide them together, get some percentage value, and then spit that out and display that as the stamina on our progress bar. Okay, now we need to tell it what progress bar we want it to adjust right here in this target section. So what we're going to do is we are going to pull this off and name it stamina bar. And then the target for stamina bar is going to be the main HUD, which is going to be, let's see, actually we'll do, we need to do the event graph setup. I apologize. We need to go to the event graph and actually cast to our player character here before we can finish setting that up. I got a little bit ahead of myself. On event begin play, we're just going to do a slight delay here. Delay until next tick. You could set it to delay for 2 seconds, however long you want. This is just going to make it so once the player is initialized and we get those stat values, then we will start displaying them. If you do them all at one time, sometimes it will just not want to work. So we're going to cast this to the third person character. Okay, and the object is just going to be get owner. So this is just going to grab the player here, grab the player character, and we are going to set this as a new variable. Okay, and we can do here we're going to initialize our stamina bar. So we're going to take off from here in the set node and do set percent. And then the set percent, same as we did before, current stamina divided by maximum stamina. Okay, and we can plug this in. And now here we can do stamina bar. Okay, and then we can do get as third person character, main HUD, or let's see, why is this being weird for us? Let me check here. Okay, I found the problem. I just was not spelling our variable correctly here. So we are going to get the HUD, which we have named here as HUD widget. Get HUD widgets. There we go. So yeah, make sure that you remember what you name your variables. You know, common sense there, but overlooking it a little bit, it would seem. So once we go ahead and grab our set percent here, then we are done. We have our variable pulled in now, so now it's going to know how to classify our targets. So we're going to come back to our what is this? Decrease stamina section, or actually, let's fix this too real quick, just while we're here. So I had this as target is an actor. We want target is an actor component. So go ahead and get owner and make sure that this is actor component. There we go. And compile and save. So now our error that we're getting is just from our stamina bar section in here for the decreased stamina, and we can fix that by, once again, just remembering the name that we chose for our widget, which I forgot. Get HUD widget, get stamina bar, and now it is plugged in there. So next up, go ahead and compile, save this. Yep, there we go. Now we're working. After we set the percent of the bar, we want to see, is there stamina left or are we at 0, right? So the way that we can check for something like this is by doing another branch, just like we did before. And we can get our current stamina just like we did before. Is it less than or equal to 0? Okay. If it is not less than or equal to 0, we are going to just have a return node, right? And it'll feed in here. Now, how do we want to make it so once it does one of these, right? If it is equal to 0, we want it to set some kind of value to store that stamina was at 0 so it doesn't continue to decrease. So how can we do that? What we can do is come here on the return node and we can add an output parameter. If we do that, we'll see we get this new thing called new param. We're going to name this to no stamina left. Okay, and we will want this one to be a Boolean, because we only want to know if we have stamina or we don't have stamina. We don't need to know how much. We want 1 or 0, right? So if there is no stamina left, if we are at 0 on the true node, we want to click no stamina left to being true. If not, no stamina left is left unchecked. Okay? And then we're also going to want to come back to our original branch and check here if it is not, or if it is 0, in this case actually, because we have a not Boolean, we want it to print no stamina left, right? And we can't decrease if we have no stamina left. All right, go ahead and compile and save. Now, let's see if this is working so far. What we're going to do is make a debug key. So you can type in debug key T. Yeah, T works fine. When it's pressed, we want to decrease stamina. Okay. And we want to set the stamina loss to, I don't know. Let's see. Let's just do, we can get our current stamina. Actually, let's just set this to 5, just for testing purposes, or 10. Maybe 10's better. Okay, and we must have a target for the connection. So what we're going to do here is we want this to be the target of something, not the player character. What we actually want this to be the target of is the component player stats. So what we're going to do up here in the third person character, click add, and we're going to type in component player stats, right? We want to add in that component that we made just like we did with our component melee. Okay, once we do that, we can drag this in and set that to be the target. Okay, now let's see if this works for us. We're going to press T and we should see a stamina decrease. There we go. So if you look along the bottom, stamina is decreasing every time we press T. All right, now we'll do one more thing in this video, and that is going to be increasing stamina, right? We want our stamina to increase after it decreases. We don't just want it to stay at whatever we decreased it to. We want it to be able to increase. So in order to do that, we're going to have our increased stamina node here, and we don't need to make any new variables for this. This is going to be using the variables that we've already created. We're going to get the current stamina. We're going to add it to the amount of stamina that we are getting when we increase, right? So to do that, what we're going to do is take this increased stamina node, just like we did before. We're going to add in an input. This input is going to be added stamina, or stamina added. Once again, we're going to want this to be a float. Okay, and we can connect this to the add node. So now we're going to add these two values together to give us the new stamina. So we're going to set the new stamina to this value that we get out from here. And we're going to run this through a branch. And we want this branch to essentially be, are we, or is our stamina, our current stamina, more than our max stamina? If it is not, then we can increase. If it is, we don't want to increase anymore. So what we're going to do is take current stamina and max stamina. And we're going to say if current stamina is greater than max stamina, then set current stamina to max stamina. This way it doesn't go over the amount of max stamina. We're going to set percent. And in the percent section here, we're going to do the same thing that we did before. Get our current, get our max, divide the two, get our, our percentage value here, plug it in. And then for our target, we're once again going to do stamina bar. We're going to do our BP third person character into HUD widget. Connect this, make this look a little nicer. All right, there we go, compile and save. Now we do have to do one more thing. We have to set a false node. This one we can just plug straight into set percent. If it's not greater than the maximum stamina, that's great. Go ahead and set the percent and keep it rolling, right? So now we're going to compile and save. We're going to come over here to the third person character blueprint. We're going to do another debug key just to see if our increase is working. If we press U, we want to increase stamina. Okay, we want to increase the value at component player stats, and we want to increase it by 10. Compile and save. All right, let's see here. We can decrease with T, and we can increase with U. So now we have a stamina system that will both increase and decrease. Now, in our next video, we're going to work on tying these decreases to things like sprinting as well as attacking. Okay, but that's going to be it for this video. I wanted to get this one out pretty quick for you guys because I have been sick. I know it's been a little bit of a delay, and I do apologize for that. I'd also like to thank you guys for all the support over the last few weeks, yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I will be back with another video this weekend to go ahead and finish up the stamina system and implement in that sprinting mechanic. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.